What up, people? Welcome to a very special holiday edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Yes. Do y'all remember back in the days when we was little? Well, people my ilk, people my age. Do y'all remember back in the days when we was little, when we was young, and we saw those very special episodes of Different Strokes, of Facts of Life, of Growing Pains, of anytime you heard the nice, slow, deep voice, you knew some BS was afoot. You knew some shenanigans were afoot. You knew you needed parental discretion was truly advised. Normally I would say, matter of fact, I'll say parental discretion is strongly advised, but will be completely ignored on this podcast, on this episode. Um, Hope everyone is having a great holiday season. Hope everyone is healthy, well, both spiritually, mentally, physically, the whole nine. Yeah, so I'm back. I'm back. And to be honest, like I'm always honest with y'all people. I don't know why, but I just am. To be honest, I don't think I was going to do an episode. Or should I say the episode I had in mind was totally different. And then I was going to say, not doing an episode. And then I realized I'm like, oh shoot. I didn't do a Christmas episode last year. And the year before, I had the Christmas flu, the Christmas cold. But yet I did an episode, probably one of my least watched and listened episodes ever for a full-fledged episode. But I did an episode while I was riddled and isolated in my room with the Christmas flu, the Christmas cold. I guess because that certain word was still banned on the algorithm. So since I was talking about it freely, but yeah, I could have swore that my Festivus episode last year was in time for the holidays. So imagine my surprise when I looked back and saw that the day it premiered, the day it debuted, the day I dropped it, the day I uploaded it was January 6th, 2025, which is very apropos for many reasons. January 6th is infamous. So I'm like, hold on. I didn't do an episode last year. Ironically, the episode that I did prior to the holidays, prior to Christmas, prior to New Year's was Vigilante Season 2, a episode that got striked down by the powers that be at YouTube because they thought I was actually promoting being vigilant in the streets, even though I was kind of not doing that. Go figure. So that episode dropped December 16th, and I guess I took the holidays off, and I dropped again on January 6th. And doom 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 doom, time for medication, which will be taken after I record this. But clip that. Anyway, so I decided I was like, you know what? I'm going to give you a Christmas episode. I'm going to give you a New Year's episode because I'm back and forth this week between Brooklyn, my work job, and Pennsylvania with Brother Mark and Sister Steph, in which Mrs. Ooh is actually spending the week down there. So on my days off, I just came back from Pennsylvania from late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Just got back. I said, you know what? When I get back down there, I'm not going to be recording. So guess what? Let me do it right now. And that's what I'm doing. On tap this week, on tap this episode, just like the title says, Festivus. Festivus. Everybody knows what Festivus is. If you don't, that's the season of complaining. That's a season of venting. That's a season of talking about all the things that got on your nerves. In my case, all the things that got on my nerves this past weekend. Yes, this past weekend, both at my shoot job, well, majority of the time at my shoe job, um, in the media sphere, in the sports hemisphere. Notice I'm not talking about the Jets. I'm not talking about the Jets. Why? And nobody else is talking about. Shoot, they're not even talking about themselves. Should I talk about the Mets? No, I will not talk about the Mets because our hot stove is still trying to warm up. But I will be talking about the Knicks. But Festivus, yes, Festivus Part 2, more problems, or how I should have titled it, Festivus Part 2, the search for more complaints, the search for more aggravation, the search for more irritation, the search for more content. Yeah. So that's what's on tap this week. I will give you, matter of fact, I'm not giving you nothing. I'm just going to get right into it. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Episode. Well, gripe number one. Gripe number one. One. Saturday, at my place of business, it was hard to find a parking spot, right? So, no fret. I said, you know what? Let me park in the bus stop, technically. And when a spot opens up, I'll run out and I'll move my car to a legitimate spot. No problem. Over in that area, they don't really give you tickets that much, as long as you're not obstructing the bus stop. I don't know why the bus stop has to be a half a block long, but neither here nor there. So they're kind of lenient, as long as you don't keep it there too long, as long as you're not obstructing the bus from getting into the bus stop, right? Fine. So this is what happened, right? So I just happened to come outside and I scanned the place, scanned the block, looking to see if there's a parking spot, and I see two cars on looking like they're about to get out their spots. So I said, perfect, perfect. I got me a spot. So run across the street. Now, fault number one was I was in full uniform. But all right, fine. Listen, I gotta get the spot, right? So I run across the street, get in the car, bust a Huey, go to the spot. By the time the rate of traffic was, by the time I did my U-turn and got to the spot, I noticed there was no big ass spot. There was a small spot. Not my dog spot, not a liver spot, but a small parking spot. There was what was it? A Tahoe? Yeah, I believe it's a Tahoe. And tell you the truth, you know who is actually inhabiting the Tahoe? Well, let's say the other half, the latter half of Tahoe. It wasn't a Ta. I'll just say that much, right? So I pull up and I look and I'm like, nah. I saw there was two cars that was here. One pulled off, meaning there's enough space for two cars to be here. Yet there's only space for one. Homie's about to have to move, right? At this time, I did not know it was a female in the car. Fine. So I go in front, put the car pretty much in the crosswalk, and I figured I'll go back. I'm like, look, I asked him, like, excuse me, can you move back so I can get in the spot, right? So that's what I did. So I get out the car. Now, anybody who knows me or who frequents or watches this or listens to me, know I'm a naturally loud person. It's a point of contention with me and my wife because, listen, I've been loud for all my years. She's like, listen, we've been together for over 30 years, and yet you're still loud. What the hell is your problem? But neither here nor there. I'm a loud person. So it comes across that I'm yelling, which I'm not really yelling. I'm just loud. Why? I don't know. It took me, listen, I was 3 years old before I started talking. I knew how to talk. I just chose not to talk. And I was a quiet person until I came out my shell at 16. But I digress, right? So I go up to the car. Now I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of pissed off. So that's probably why my voice was I was hyped. So I went to the driver's side window, and they got tinted windows. So I'm like, hello? Hey, hello? So they rolled down the window, and it was a mamacita, right? So I was like, excuse me. I was like, yo, can you move your car back? I mean, can you move your car so I can get into the spot? Because, can't get into a spot. Can you move? She's like, what, you can't fit back there? So I'm like, no. She's like, okay. So I'm like, I'm looking at her like, what's the attitude for, right? But neither here nor there. Fine. As long as you move, I don't care. I'm not getting into it. I don't care, right? So I go back in the car and I'm waiting for, I got my car in reverse. I'm waiting for it to move back. Then I realized, I'm like, I know what it is. The reason she parked this way because she wants to be the first car on this side of the street. So nobody could kind of cramp her in, box her in. I get it, because I don't like being boxed in either. I get it. So I'm thinking, you know what? Especially being the fact that she said, you can't fit behind me. She wants to be the first car. So I get back out the car. So I'll go up. I'm like, excuse me. Yeah. I'm like, yo, I was like, if anything, if you want me to park behind you, you can move up and I can park behind you. It's up to you. It don't matter to me. I already said I'm moving. You can't give me you didn't give me a chance to start my car. Like, why are you so aggressive? I said, how am I aggressive? Yeah, you so aggressive. Like, you got out the car first time, then I told you I was gonna move, and then you just got out the car again. Like, I don't know what the problem is. I told you I'm gonna move. Like, you real aggressive. I'm like, miss, I'm not aggressive. I'm a loud person. I had an ear pod in my ear. I'm like, listen, I got an ear pod in my ear. So if I'm speaking loud, I don't want you to take it that I'm being aggressive toward you. That's not my intent. So I'm just saying, like, I don't understand. You don't need to do that. Like, I'm about to move. Now I'm pissed off now because I asked my therapist this, and she confirmed. And anybody, like I said, frequent viewers and listeners of this podcast know I hate new terms. And I asked my therapist, I'm like, I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you for confirmation. Did this broad just gaslight me? So my therapist started laughing. She was like, yeah, she did. I was like, okay, that's what I thought. Because at the end of the day, the problem was it had nothing to do with my tone of voice, which is a trigger of mine. I'm not going to lie. Don't tell me to calm down. Don't tell me to lower my voice, because my thing is, you're not my father. You're not my mom's. Don't talk to me. Don't tell me how I'm talking. Fine. But besides that, the problem was she had an attitude because I asked her to move her car so I can get a park. That's the gist of the whole thing. Everything else after that was going to be an annoyance to her because I had the audacity to ask her to move her oversized car so I could get my medium-sized car in. So that was the self-defense mechanism of, oh, you're why are you being so aggressive? Now, for two reasons why, I'll tell you later, but two reasons why I had to preface everything I was saying as in, listen, that's not my intent. I'm trying to keep her at ease because first and foremost, she's a female, I'm a male, right? I'm not trying to go back and forth with no female. Period. In the discussion. That's not what men do. Some men do that, but that's not what men are supposed to do, right? So first and foremost, I'm not going back and forth. I'm not having no argument. I'm not getting loud with you, and I'm damn sure not getting aggressive with you. Period. Right? That's number one. Number two, which is equally as important, I'm at work. I'm in my full uniform. I'm literally in front of my place of business. So the last thing I need is for somebody to contact my job and say, said employee came out and aggressively talked to me about moving my car when technically I wasn't supposed to be moving my car on the clock to begin with. And I'm sticking out like a sore thumb because I got my uniform on. So I'm playing peacemaker, even though part of me is like, I'm so glad my wife is in here, because if my wife was here, it was going to be a big problem. Two, I don't really care that much. But the part that pissed me off is you tried to flip it around. You know, tried to flip it and bounce it on some BS. That's the part. Like, society's just like that. Society's really like that. So she finally moved back. I got up in there and I was like, you know what? I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a blessed night. Kept it moving. Do you know? Do you know that all that attitude was for what? About a half hour later, I just happened to go back outside and homegirl was gone. Homegirl acted like she was trying to set up for the week because over there they only got to move their car once a week. So she was acting like, yo, I'm trying to set up so I could just be here for another 5 days for 30 minutes. People are entitled. I swear there's a lot of derogatory, non politically correct things that went in my mind to say on this platform. Not to say to her, but like, yo, all I know is this. It was just below freezing. I could have made it below freezing for her ass. You put two and two together. You connect the dots. Everybody ain't safe in the land of the free or the home of the brave. Festivus! Festivus for the rest of us. Now, continuation to this, right? So I called my wife, right? Because I needed to, yeah, and I got some ashy knuckles. Yeah, look at that ash. Because it's cold outside and I didn't lotion my hands. Anyway, so I called my wife to try to calm down because it bothered me. It bothered me. I just need to vent. And my wife is like, yo, why you apologize to her? I'm like, babe, I wasn't apologizing to her. I was trying to put her at ease. I wouldn't have said all that. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm glad you wasn't there. Right now, I'm telling you this. And she's like, listen, she must have wanted a problem. She lucky I'm not there. I'm like, yeah, I know. Right. So maybe about a half hour later, just to show you how long I was holding on to this, half hour later, I see one of my regulars, right? His name Larry. So Larry come through. Yo, what's going on, brother? I'm like, hey, what's going on, bro? So he was like, what's up? So he saw it on my face. I'm like, man. I was like, matter of fact, yo, let me walk with you. So I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, yo, just everything I just told y'all. And he was like, listen, F all that BS. Broads want equal rights, right? So it's almost like he was like, punk step up to get beat down. Ain't nothing but a beating. He was like, yo, she lucky it wasn't me. Yo, Mikey. Which is crazy. I just realized he calls me Mikey. I don't really like people calling me Mikey, but whatever. He's cool beans. Yeah, go figure. I know. I named my son. I call my son Mikey. Whatever. He was like, listen, if I was lucky, she lucky that wasn't me. Yo, I would spit on her car right there. Move your car. I'm like, yo, he had me dying. He's like, listen, yo, I grew up on the upper east, on the lower east side. We don't play those games. Yo, she would have effed around and found out. Shoot, listen, I was always taught, listen, you wanna play the man role? You get treated like a man. I'm like, so I'm trying to bring it out. Like, yo, the old me, I would have thought of. So he's like, man, listen, you stay, you play the humble role. Yo, I don't got time for all that. You want? I'm like, yo, whoa, this went left real quick. But yeah, it was a crazy day. It was a crazy day. Part two, number two. Something I realized, right? Um, Something that I realized, and I'm not gonna dwell on this point, but I'm gonna put this out there to the masses, right? Have y'all ever had an encounter that people think they know you from meeting you just once, i.e., people get real comfortable saying saying stuff, thinking that they know your reactions or know how you receive stuff, and they only met you once. Why do people do that? I'm talking people of my ilk, of my era. I'm not talking about these new jacks. I'm not talking about the newer generation, Generation I, J, K, L, whatever. Right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Generation X. Dun, 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 dun. Case in point, right? Like, I'm really trying. I try to be a good dude. And especially over the last couple months, I'm really trying to be a good dude. As in, I try to formulate my thoughts so I don't have no negative thoughts. I don't have any thoughts of, yo, a couple years ago, yo, I would have. I try not to even put that in my calculus in my head, right? Which is frustrating because sometimes it pops up and I'm like, and I talked to a bro of mine, and um I'll keep the person's name um anonymous, but I spoke to a bro of mine, and about this type of thinking, and he was like, listen, he's like, yo, you gotta give yourself some grace. It's a difference between thinking something and actually acting on that thought. All because, listen, you're human. You can get pissed off. You can get pissed off, and whatever your imagination. Now, this is my word. Your imagination goes like, yo, if I swear I could do blah, 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 blah. Yo, I wish I could do that. But as long as I don't act on it, I mean, if that's the way I gotta, you know, deal with it, then that's the way I deal with it, right? But as long as I don't act on it, as long as I don't, because years ago, and I guess I could say years ago now, because it's been 3 years since my beginning of my current path, right? But years ago, I would have been on here. I would have been cursing up a storm. Have you noticed? I really haven't cursed, but I would have been, yo, this B at TCA, da da da. Yo, I would have effed her up, da 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 da. Yo, she could SMD, blah 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 blah. I would have actually just said it, right? Might not have said it to her, but I would just said it. Now, all these thoughts, I was like, damn, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing that. Listen, I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to um, be a righteous dude and really try to um, walk the walk and talk the talk at the same time, which is possible. We're not Neanderthal. I'm not Neanderthal. I can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. So that means, if I really am serious about being um, at peace, or becoming or being that person that errs on the side of positivity and not negativity, then I need to walk that walk, right? I can't be talking about it and then do the opposite. But as I said, I'm trying to be a good dude. And, you know, reformation only has benefits. Well, at least in my case, it's only beneficial to me. Um, I try not to backslide, right? But this is the point of contention. People will try to take you there, even without trying. Like, case in point, how do you react, or how should you react? Matter of fact, no, not how should you. How do you react when somebody sticks their foot in their mouth and it's out there, and you don't know? It's not, tell you the truth, it's not on the person receiving that to try to decipher whether the person meant ill will or not, especially if it's somebody who only really met you once, right? If it's family, friends, close confidants, you have a you have past history. You have a long line, something to refer to, reference points of, you know what? Okay, that's how they do. This is what they meant. This is, maybe the message is there. It's just the presentation that's wrong. All that you can decipher like that. But should you decipher it for somebody that you only met once, and this is your second time? All right, I know you're probably like, yo, where you getting at? This is where I'm getting at. And I chose the way to handle it, but once again, I'm going to bring this up to you. Festivus, part 2. More problems, more complaints, more irritation. So I come in contact with individual, right? That was in a place with other people that I knew, and I met them prior to this time, and we're friendly. We got off on a good foot the first time, but just so happened that when had this encounter this particular time, I was fresh off of having a breakdown, right? Like as I've mentioned before, the holiday season is very, very um troubling, or it's very, very difficult for certain people, myself included. And this is what I'm talking about, myself specifically. Um, something, the situation triggered a lot of emotions, a lot of memories of my late son Nakai. And while I was driving, I was, I was, I was crying because while I was driving through this particular town, I remembered all of these things that we used to do when they were formative age, preteen, so forth, right? Little, right? Time before I was even driving, we taking a cab over here, we taking a cab over there to next town because next town had better food, or had this is before this is like 18 years ago. Okay. Matter of fact, probably more than 18 years ago. So all these memories flooded my head when I was driving through this town. So by the time I got to my destination, I'm fresh off of crying. My emotions are raw. And you could say maybe it was my mistake because everything, and y'all know I always say everything is not to be shared. So perhaps that was my mistake. But regardless, I'm not taking no fault for it. So I get there and hey, what's going on? Hey, da, 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 I didn't know you coming there, da, 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 whatever. And yo, Mike, what's the matter with you? Like, yo, why you look like that? Because you could tell that something just bothered me. So split second, I was like, do I lie or do I be truthful? F that. Why I'm lying for? I'm lying because I just broke down over the thoughts of my late son. Why am I lying about that? I'm not gonna lie about that. So I opened myself up. I'm like, yeah, yo, just I was driving, I broke down, start remembering my son Nakai and all this and this, that, and the third. And you know what I was met with? You know the response I was met with? F all that. Let's talk about why you only came here with 2 drinks. Which were milkshakes, by the way. Yeah, you see the look on my face. I just said that I was asked what was the problem. I said I was breaking down while I was driving because I was missing my late son. And the response wasn't, okay, sorry, or let's back off. The response was, yo, F all that. And then and you know how you get so pissed off that you laugh? Because you're so incredulous about what just happened. You're like, it was more like, I can't believe this brewer just did this. Once again, female. So once again, split second decision. What do you do? curse them out? Do you check them right then and there? Or do you make a note in your mind, you know what? Guess what? Not the fact that it's not worth it, as in the anger is not worth it. It's just like, you know what? You're not worth my time nor energy right now. Or going forward, ever again. Period. That's it. And even though I hate this saying, it's true in this respect. When people show you who they are, believe them. No excuse for, oh, I had a couple drinks. No excuse for, yo, I was blowing on something. There's no excuse because that was your decision to put yourself in that situation, to put yourself in that state of mind. So therefore, whatever comes out your mouth in that state of mind, ultimately is your decision. My brother Coob used to tell me back in the days when we was younger, which go I'm getting right. I'm smoking trees and stuff and drinking or whatever. And he would tell me straight up, yo, if you can't control your high, don't do it. If you can't control your twist, don't do it. That's not an excuse. Oh, yo, I was drinking. Yo, that's why I'm acting stupid. That's not an excuse. Can't use that as an excuse. You chose the fact that you're imbibing. You chose the fact that you're blowing. So therefore, you are in control of your situation. You're in control of your actions. My brother Cool told me this when he was 18, 19 years old. How many 18, 19-year-olds nowadays be out there doing them and has the wisdom at that time to be like, listen, this is not an excuse for me to act stupid. I know what I'm doing. I'm choosing to do this. So therefore, I'm in control of this. Right? So I say all that to say, I chose, you know what? Bet. So I laugh like, yeah. And I just removed myself from the situation. Didn't say anything else really at that time. I sat there scrolling on my phone, literally scrolling on my phone, doing nothing because I'm so pissed. And I'm like, I'm not even going to, because right now it's going to go through one ear right out the other, or it's going to escalate. And once again, I'm not having no escalation with no female. No matter how wrong they are, I'm not doing it. That's what punks do. So remove myself from the situation, and going forward, if by chance I come in contact with this person, I will remove myself from the situation expeditiously, pronto, because there's no coming back for that. You don't know me. Not the fact, not saying it would have been all right if the person did know me personally, but specifically, you don't know me. You know what you met the first opportunity, which was great. And I'm not saying I got multiple personalities, but you got too comfortable too quick. Nah. You don't know me, not even enough to even for me to decipher, like, yo, I give a pass. There's never a pass when it comes to my son. Period. It could even be family. I might just be cordial, but there's never no going back. There's never which go catching a pass. No, not when it comes to my son Nakai. I know. The mood. The mood's about to change. Well, the mood changed. You know, um, that was crazy. That was crazy. Now, something a little bit more frivolous is this, right? My name is Michael. You heard that? Michael. Do you want me to spell it out for you? I will. Michael. Michael. You can call me Mike. Mike. My screen name is Mike Steph, short for Michael Steffens. Get the difference? Sarai. There's Michael, there's Mike, and there's Mike Steph. Those are three different ways. My preference, to be honest, is Michael. Two reasons. One, because that's my name. And two, when I hear somebody call me Michael, I'm not going to lie, it reminds me of my mother. Because my mother never called me Mike. Even when I got older, it was never Mike. It was Michael. Michael. I mean, she would say my name in a way that people on the block would tease me because the way she would say it. She's like, Michael. They said, and tell you the truth, I should have smacked the crap out of somebody just for GP. But even it was hilarious though, but still. They said my mom used to say my name like Fire Marshal Bill. Michael, come here, Michael. Michael, come here. Go to the sofa with me, Michael. Some bull. But had some truth to it. Michael. So but yeah, like I have a coworker that I work with. Coworker, work with, But I have a coworker and she called me Michael. And she asked me, she's like, yo, do you have a problem with me calling you Michael? I was like, nah, tell you the truth, I prefer it actually. So yeah, do you? Makes you different. So she calls me Michael. Sometimes now, since she calls me Mike, it doesn't even sound right because she started calling me Michael. But she had a reason. Her son's name is Michael, so it flows off the tongue, Michael, right? My wife doesn't call me Michael. Tell you the truth, when my wife calls me Mike, usually I'm in trouble. When my mother used to call me Andre, yes, that is my middle name. When my mother used to call me Andre, she only called me Andre because I was in trouble. If she said, Andre, I knew I did something to get on the bad side of my mom. And that's another thing that I would get teased with when I was younger. Because, back then, you're supposed to be inside by the time the street lights come on. If my mother had to come downstairs and she saw me around the corner, she saw me across the street with the people, with the boys, Andre, and then I go across the street, and then I have to hear the echoes behind me, Andre, and then my mom be like, "Don't get mad. Shoot, you mad? Yeah, they mad because their mother not coming out looking for them." Because I was born in the era of Channel 5 News. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? That's the era I was coming from. But yes, Michael is my name. You can call me Mike, but the screen name is Mike Steph. So, unless you're talking to me in the comments down here, where it automatically just as a reply pops up at Mike Steph, please refer to me as Mike or Michael. Thank you very much. Now, with all that being said, I guess I should start. I should get to the rest of this program. Which I think what's left is talking about the Knicks winning the cup. And yeah, I know y'all probably like, why is he bringing this up in 2025 because to to be honest, it's pertinent to me. Who do you choose? Who do you like more, Nas or Jay Z? I know you're like, what generation XBS is this? If you Let's get to the show. With all that being said, good night, and goodbye. With my ashy hands. Bang!
Salty thoughts of Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting, a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hide the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music, mixed for living. Rep New York City, but hate the politicians. Always bring the heat, Steph bacon in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the world of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world at what he does. Tap in.
The New York Knicks last week won the in-season NBA Cup, the Emirates NBA Cup. And in not stunning fashion, because we handled the Spurs downright, just throttled them. Came back in the fourth quarter, put the clamps down, and we smelled victory, smelled blood in the water, and we handled our business, right? Now, I'm not going to get into a recap because, like I said, it's been a week ago. We played 3 games since then. We're 2-1. We had a comeback victory in Indiana after the cup victory. Then we lost against Philly, and then just the other day, Brunson Cat dropped 47 in the Garden, career high in the Garden. For us to put the pause to the Miami Heat. So that's not what I'm talking about. There was a big discussion on whether or not that the Knicks chose not to raise the banner and put it in the rafters. And you have various outlets talking about, the Knicks, who are the Knicks to turn down raising the rafter and not making a celebration out of it and everything. And this is the franchise that's only won. The last one was 73. And, you see, that's the age-old tale of Knicks for clicks. Now, I was not a proponent of them raising the rafters, putting in the rafters, having a ceremony. It's an in-season trophy. It's an in-season championship, right? For the tournament, a tournament championship. Great. I'm glad that they won and they didn't lose, because that would have been a narrative. See, this collection of players still can't get over the hump, still can't win the big one. Towns and Brunson just don't work together. Oh, they got to blow it up and get Giannis. So us winning quieted those people, quieted those questions. They answered those questions of whether we are a clutch team, whether we have the requisite pieces to make a long run. Because right now, entering the season, it's NBA Finals or bust. We're not at the point of championship or bust, but it's at least getting to the finals or bust. So for us, winning that cup, winning that trophy, winning that tournament, and saying, listen, no disrespect, but the only banner we want to raise at the end of the season, during this season at all, is the championship banner. This is not our end goal. This is an accomplishment on our way to hopefully raising that banner at the end of the season, having a long-awaited parade down the Canyon of Heroes, right? Unless Mondani says, no, we can't do that. But I'll talk about him next month when he's actually the mayor. I know people are probably like, yo, you got off the anti-Mandela. No, I didn't. It's just there's nothing really to talk about. He's the mayor elect. Okay, that means he's nothing right now. And Adams is pretty much running out the clock. So there's nothing to talk about. Neither here nor there. But like I said, you have the usual cohorts, and I actually respect Kendrick Perkins way more now than I did before because I actually know his play. I know the play. Like, he's his own man, and I like that. He made his own lane, and sometimes he has takes that are controversial. But listen, he works in a hot take business. But him saying that it was disrespectful that who are the Knicks to listen, that was what we would have got clowned if we did it. Look at it this way. When the Lakers raised their trophy, raised their put their banners in the rafters. Remember, people forget the NBA mandated that they put that banner in the rafters. The Lakers have what 17 banners, 17 championships, 17 trophies, 18 trophies. The NBA Cup pales in comparison to all that. Being the fact that was the first ever tournament to bring it along, they wanted them to put it in the rafters. Because they're like, listen, from that point on, if the Lakers did it, who is anybody else not to? Well, Jim Dolan's like, not I. We're not doing this. People pointed out, well, he got Billy Joel banners in the rafters for most consecutive sellouts. Certain bands like Fish and all this other stuff. Okay. That's a him thing. And he's like, look, this is my building. I'm the owner, yes, but I'm the owner of all of this. And if my team doesn't want to celebrate this the way that everybody else wants to, great. Because I'm not paying all these millions and millions of dollars to be putting some in-season tournament trophy banner in the rafters. We'll give a little ceremony. We'll split the middle. We'll give a little ceremony at the end. I mean, outside. And everybody's like, well, this is the same team that renamed streets just to make the first conference finals in 25 years. And now all of a sudden they too good to put on a banner? Yeah, we are. Because without us, what would y'all be? What would y'all be? Without the Knicks to be, hence, the Charlie Brown of the NBA, Charlie Brown always going to kick the football and the rest of the NBA being loosey and moving the football. So Charlie Brown always ends up on his keister. Without the Knicks to be the laughing stock, even when we're good, what would the NBA be? Oh, yeah, I know. OKC. OKC is phenomenal. OKC has only lost 2 games this season. Right? Are they moving ratings? Are they moving the dial? Are they moving the conversation? Jokic is putting on crazy numbers. Probably on his way to a 3rd, 4th MVP, unless they jerk him out of it, or unless they actually give it to Jalen Brunson. Because, tell you the truth, if we have the season that I believe we're going to have, or we're having, Jalen Brunson should get the MVP, but neither here nor there. What are y'all talking about? What y'all going to talk about LeBron for the 1100th million time of how his machinations on now he's trying to get Austin Reeves up out of there because they need more athleticism? Never mind about the fact that he's 41 years old. You're going to be 41 years old this month if he's not 41 already. If you have a lack of athleticism, why are y'all looking at the young boy that's dropping 28, 29 a game and not looking at the dude that's 41 that's dealing with sciatica? Yeah, that's what you should be doing. Or we're gonna look at the trash heap that is the Golden State Warriors, where Steph is averaging 30 points a game and they're like hovering below 500. We're gonna talk about them for what? Are we gonna keep on rehashing Draymond being a fake thug? Jimmy Butler just doing Jimmy Butler things? The negative Jimmy Butler, not playoff Jimmy. That's what we're gonna do. What else is there to talk about if we don't have the Knicks? So yeah, we won. We are the champions, my friend. We're fighting to the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, cause we are the champions of the World Cup. Now I'm going to read an article from AMNY talking about the MTA's new efforts and new installation of new glass gates at a Manhattan train station in which it sounds alarms for cheats, but cheats still find a way around them, such as this person right here that the video is showing. This picture is showing. And I commence with reading. The MTA unveiled its latest effort to fight fare evasion at 2 New York City stations, but commuters looking for a free ride still found creative ways to beat the system. The entrances to trains at Broadway Lafayette in Manhattan and 3rd Avenue 138th Street in the Bronx are now equipped with clear doors that swing open once payment has been scanned. If someone attempts to enter without paying, a loud foghorn-like alarm will resonate throughout the station. You'll hear from these gates a very loud noise when there's an attempt at a fare evasion. Jamie Torres Springer, president of the MTA's construction and development, said. MTA representatives said the system, which is a prototype that is part of a pilot program, has dozens of smart technology and AI sensors that can detect items, including luggage, wheelchairs, giving riders enough time to get through the doors. These gates are smart, secure, and accessible, Springer said at a December 19th press conference announcing the new doors in Manhattan. They are going to improve the passenger experience and ensure that we minimize fare evasion. Meanwhile, the booming alarm and high-tech features were not enough to stop a few fare evaders determined not to pay their fair share like everyone else. During a visit at the Broadway Lafayette station on Sunday, an AM New York reporter witnessed fare-beating commuters slither underneath the doors like snakes and doubling up, walking through the glass doors in pairs. One commuter even dared to climb over the doors to avoid paying the $2.90 fare, which is set to increase to $3 next month. Nobody stopped him. 20 stations across the borough will get the new doors over the next few days and weeks, Springer said. The MTA lost nearly $1 billion in fare and tolls in 2024. After a review that includes passenger feedback, the MTA will implement a full deployment of the gates. The agency allocated around $1.2 billion from its $68.4 billion capital plan to install the gates into most of the system, Springer said. Kwamel Arroyo, the MTA's chief accessibility officer, said the new doors will enhance access for people leaving and entering the station. Since its inception, we had turnstiles that left so many people behind, people such as myself who use wheelchairs, but also parents with strollers. People with luggage, if they have a guitar, they all struggle to get through. This is what true access looks like. In contrast, several videos emerged on social media on Friday that show commuters getting their backpacks stuck in the swinging doors when they open after payment. MTA officials acknowledge that the system is not perfect. No system is going to be 100% immune to fare evasion, but what we've got with this technology is vastly minimizing the amount of fare evasion that you're going to see. The MTA has worked with global technology companies from around the world to design doors in such a way that adapts to the NYC subway environment. The agency said it's currently reviewing 3 vendors and will decide in 2026 which one will outfit the entire system with modern fare gates. The announcement of new fare gates follows the MTA's installment of more turnstile spikes and paddles at most remaining subway stations to deter fare evasion. While not as high tech as the doors, the device aims to deter commuters from jumping over the system's traditional turnstiles. The agency is expected to pay $7.3 million dollars on the upgrade. So far, 2,900 spikes and paddles have been installed in 327 of the MTA's 472 stations. And do you know what this is going to stop? Absolutely, positively nothing. Listen, due to certain situations, I can't get into it as in depth as I would like to, but remember when they installed or when they start making the barriers to prevent people from getting on the tracks and you was able just to kind of just walk right around it? Remember that? Well, as the article just said, they saw people slithering underneath the large glass doors, such as this dude climbing the door. Like, I'm sorry, maybe it's just me, but I'm like, is it that serious? So you're going through all that to avoid paying $2.90 or $3? Let's look at what he got on. Okay, that jacket, I don't know if that's North Face jacket or not, but let's say that jacket is about, all right, $100. He got suspenders. Yo, matter of fact, I just looked at it. He got knee pads on. So that means he was literally ready to jump the turnstile. He got knee pads on. Wow. Didn't even realize that. Here's another. Here's another look. See, that's a knee pad. Makes me wonder. Makes me wonder. But y'all go. People go through all this rigmarole to avoid paying $3, but yet they'll stand online patiently at McDonald's and spend 10, 20, $30 on stuff that's not even food. Yes, I said it. Stuff that's not even food. It's food like. It might be edible. All things that's edible is not food. Tell you the truth, I ain't gonna lie. And that's probably it probably explains a lot. You know, I used to eat paint chips. Yeah. I don't know. It just had this aftertaste that just was scrumptious. Next subject. Now my last segment, Nas and Jay-Z. Um, I'll say it like this. Over the last I wouldn't say last, especially last month, I've been listening to a lot of Nas's catalog again with Grown Man Is, right? Both his past projects and his more current ones. Um, King Disease 123, Magic 123, and even some of this Nas and Premiere um joint that he has. Light Years, right? Which some of the tracks that I heard, I haven't listened to it all. Some of the tracks that I heard, the rhyming is on par, as Nas has been just wrecking everything for the last couple years, especially this past year. Um, those verses that he put on the not on the Mob Deep album, was special. So, but yeah, to be honest, Premier's beats suck. Yeah, I know, blasphemous. But you know what they sound like? They sound like someone who has lost the timing. They sound like somebody who's just a split second off. And because it's Premier, nobody's going to say anything. He's a legend. this doesn't deter from his legendary status. I'm just saying, especially hearing Nas on instrumentals that complimented him, you know, so he brought it up as much as he can, but it's just neither here nor there. It's not an album review. But I was listening to those, right? And I don't listen to nearly as much Jay-Z anymore. I mean, first, he doesn't have anything current, but listen, I'm not looking for anything current. But now I listen to his old stuff with grown ears, and it doesn't move me. It's very, I know. Back in the day, everybody said it was superficial, but like it's really glaring how superficial it is. Nas had storytelling. Nas had there was this so many things. Nas, he had lyrical depth. Um, he just he had more creativity. Jay Jay was able to tell stories, but not as. But to me, they was very surface, right? Um, Nas was more socially aware. He can literally paint a picture through his songs, through his verses, through his words that you could listen to it and you felt like you was in Queensbridge. You thought you was on the 40th side, 41st side. You thought you was seeing Shorty Doo Wop. Jay's music to me hasn't aged as well, right? Um, I remember that saying, that line that Jay threw at Nas on Blueprint 2. Is it Black Girl Lost or Shorty You Owe Me Ice? Owe Me for Ice? And I'm listening to it and I'm like, okay, but yeah, there's a juxtaposition of yeah, a duality to that, but Jay-Z couldn't write Black Girl Lost. Most of his catalog is Shorty You Owe Me for Ice. Even his deep songs wasn't really deep. The last project he put out was 444, right? Solo project. Do y'all realize that was a marketing scheme? And don't get me wrong, bravo. He's a brilliant marketeer. It was a marketing scheme because Beyonce put out Lemonade, right? Then Jay-Z put out his version of Lemonade, 444. Then they put out the joint album, The Carters, a trilogy. I'll be honest. Do you know how freaking foolish I felt when I was like, wow, you mean to tell me this whole thing was a marketing scheme? Like, okay, Beyonce, whatever. I didn't listen to Lemonade. Like, what I look like. 444, I was like, okay. I was bumping that when it first came out, right? And I was listening to it. And I'm like, you know what? He's showing some vulnerability. He's showing some depth. Fine. And that was all washed away when I realized, oh, they were using their marital problems, so-called marital problems, to profit off that to make a trilogy. I'm good. So this, like I said, this is not gonna be a deep conversation. This wasn't a deep conversation. I just it came to my mind and I felt like talking about it. But do yourself a favor if you have time, especially Generation X. Listen to some Nas, both past and present, and listen to some Jay-Z. both past and present, and take everything else out the equation. Social impact, fads, um, popularity, the whole nine. Take all that out the equation. How much money they got, who their wives are, all of that. Take that out the equation. Just listen to the music and tell me what verdict that you have. Tell me if Nas is not far and beyond, way greater, way better, way more, way superior than Jay Z. And this coming from a Brooklynite. I know it's blasphemous, but I mean it's true. You know, I'm not gonna dare compare it. I'm not gonna dare compare Kendrick and Drake, what they just had, to the beef. Well, the disses from 20, 25 years ago, 24 years ago with Nas and Jay. But there is a parallel between one is the people's champ, so to speak. The other one is the marketing champ, the more popular one, the more polished one. And both then and now, the champ is here. Dun, 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 dun. The champ is here. The people's champ won. Well, people, that brings us to the end of a very special holiday edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me in this here podcast with the one y'all choose to view and the one y'all choose to listen to. Yes, 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 I do. Will I drop before the New Year's? No, I'm not. This is it for 2025. 2026, there's a lot of changes coming up. Just this little outline that you see in the back of me is a slight slight hint of what the changes are. I know you're probably like, darn, it looks like chaos. Yes, 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 it's chaos. And I'm not talking about the old click from New Japan. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to change. There's a lot of things that are on the menu, and for the better, for the better of here, this here platform, and the betterment of me, and the betterment of both of us together. You know, so when I say I thank y'all for making me the podcast y'all choose to view and choose to listen to, I mean that sincerely. Um, Hopefully y'all rock with me in this new upcoming year. Hopefully y'all rock with me as I continue to evolve, and the show evolves. Um, it seems like right now I'm averaging like every other week. And is that going to be a permanent thing? Perhaps not. Like I said, only one way to find out, and that's to tune in the upcoming year. So plugs out the way, please, 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 because it is the end of the year, so I might as well give a official plugging section. Pause, and I'll start off with Hidden Gems Football. Yes, that's right, Hidden Gems Football, hosted by the Mojo King and myself. New episodes drop each and every Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group. Yes. Next on the agenda, and why do I not see anybody else? What is going on here? Oh, did I do that? Ah, here we go. Gimmick Infringement. That's right, Gimmick Infringement, hosted by Winchester and McDowell. Gimmick Infringement drops late Sunday night, early Monday morning, also on the 19 Media Group YouTube channel and all streaming platforms wherever podcasts are available. Next on the list, Hip to the Games, hosted by the young OG himself, Desmond Powell, drops each and every other Friday on the 19 Media Group YouTube channel, as well as all streaming platforms wherever podcasts are available. And finally, 4AZ, hosted and created by Tyler McDowell Blanket, drops on Wednesdays on the YouTube channel of 4AZ and all streaming platforms wherever podcasts are available. Yes. Um, I'm going to take this time to give a shout out to everybody I just mentioned, um, specifically them, because not only are they my brethren in podcasting, uh, through podcasting or this thing that we call content creation, I met three of those individuals, and that allowed me to actually consider to add three friends to my real life. So, Des, Brad, Tyler, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and your fams. Mo, the Mojo King, I didn't meet him through podcasting. Met him where I met him at. Shoot, tell you the truth, it's been a minute. It's been 12 years, 13 years, you know. But Mo, that's my bro. Um, and I really appreciate him more than he knows. But I appreciate him. I appreciate the fact that we're able to collaborate on HGF Hidden Just Football. This is our fourth season, going strong, still evolving, and that show brings me so much joy and to see where it's at, where it's come from, and hopefully where it's going. I'd like to give a shout out to Mo, um, bro. We're gonna finish the season strong. Um, last but not last but definitely not least, I want to give a shout out to my wife, my lovely wife, Mrs. U, my lovely children, the lovely Mia, Main Event K, and Chef Mix Mikey. I love y'all. Um, give a shout out to Sister U, who is neck and neck, my number one fan. I love you. I truly do love you, sis. And my nieces, my nephews, my my grandchildren, my grandsons, my granddaughters, all of y'all. I love y'all. Pop loves y'all. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it. There's no reason to string this out any further. Um, I'll see y'all next year. Once again, have a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Oh, one last thing. One last thing. And this is probably apropos how I end this off with this question. Because it's after Hanukkah, right? So happy Hanukkah to everyone. Hope everybody had a great Hanukkah, right? Kwanzaa is coming up December 26th. Umoja, Umoja, Umoja. Now, Hanukkah is pronounced with an H, but Hanukkah technically is C-H, right? Why is the C silent? I'm asking. Truthfully, no jokes. Why is the C silent? Are the C is the C silent in cherries? So instead of saying putting a bow on this episode, I would say putting a cherry on top. But instead of saying a cherry on top, I would say I put a Harry on top. Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! Get it? Ha ha! Only people who watch the end of coming to America will understand what ha 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 means. I'll check you out next year. Goodbye.